with using technology better. So it is 8 a.m. here in Australia, 10 a.m. I think where we're streaming in New Zealand and wherever else you might be watching over the world. So you may have a cup of tea with you. I'd love you to shout out and let me know where you're tuning in from. So feel free to pop that in the chat and I will be able to see that. And also, if you'd like to let us know, have you used Hangouts Meet before? Because that is the topic of today's 10-minute tips. I'm going to be showing you how to use Hangouts Meet to maintain face-to-face connection while you might be working or learning or teaching remotely. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen, but as I said, do pop any questions in the chat and I'm going to see that as we go and I can answer them. So let me just jump in and share my screen now with you. All right, so all being well, hopefully you should see that and you should see Google Calendar. So Hangouts Meet is Google's video calling solution for businesses and for schools, and it is a little bit different to what we would call the classic Hangouts that you might have in your Hangouts little chat box in Gmail. So that is video calling as well, but Hangouts Meet's a bit more of a robust product ready there for businesses and schools, and it's the newer product as well. So there's a couple of ways that you can start a Hangouts Meet video call, and one of those is from Google Calendar, hence why I've got Google Calendar on my screen. You can also do it from the Hangouts Meet app on the web, and we're going to jump in and look at that soon. And you can also do it from the Hangouts Meet mobile app if you like on your iOS or Android device. And also from Hangouts Chat, but we're not going to go into those last two today. So there are a few options. So let's start with the calendar one. Now, the reason I really like scheduling Hangouts Meet calls via calendar is because you can just make sure everyone knows the link. Everyone goes to the same call at the same time, and it's really simple. So to do that, you can just create a brand new calendar event. And when you go in there, I'm just going to pop in test there. If you add a guest, so I might just go ahead and add Grouchy Smurf there. Generally, if you add a guest, it adds the Hangouts Meet call automatically here on the left. Now, some organizations, it might not do that. So if it doesn't do it, that's fine. All you do, I'm just going to remove it to simulate it, is you click Add Conferencing and you click Hangouts Meet. And it will add the details below. So you can see here it's got a little link, and if I click this down arrow here, there's the meeting ID, which is the meeting link. And what I can do here is I can click the little edit button, and I can also edit the end of this link to be a code from an existing meeting or a previous meeting. So this is really good. Let's just say you've got several meetings that you're going to check in with colleagues or students or something like that, and you want to use the same link every time. You can just copy it from an old meeting into this meeting here, into a new meeting. So that's really helpful. Now, other thing to be aware of is any attachments that you add to the calendar event, they're actually then accessible and visible within the Hangouts Meet call, which is super cool. All right, so I'm going to quickly jump out of that. That's how you would schedule it. So we'll hop out of that one and discard it. And let's have a look at what it would look like when it was time to join. So you'll see here I've got a team check-in. I prepared this one earlier. So if I click on that, I could just now click Join Hangouts Meet. Just click on that link, it's going to open and it's going to join the Hangout. Now, this is really good too. If you invite external people to your meeting, so people outside your school or organization, they get this kind of information in the calendar event as well. So it doesn't matter if they're not using G Suite, they could be on any other product and they're actually going to get that information and they can click on that link to join. All right, so that's the option from Calendar. Now let's jump into Hangouts Meet itself. So to get to this, you can use your little button up here with the 9 dots, or the waffle as I like to call it. Click on that, and if you scroll down, you should see Meet as an option here. So if I jump into it, I've got it open, you'll see here's the Meet interface and a couple of things I can do from here. So I can actually see meetings that are coming up that have Hangouts Meet calls attached and join them from here. I can join or start another meeting. So if I click on that, if someone has actually scheduled a meeting and given me that like 10 letter code that you saw in Calendar, I could pop that in there and join that way if I wanted to. I can also start a new meeting this way. I can just pop in a little nickname for it, or I can leave that blank and click continue, and it's going to start a brand new meeting. And we'll do that in a minute. But before we do, the other thing I really like about using this interface, I'll just zoom it in a bit for you, is that up in the top right corner, you've got a little settings cog. And from here, we can actually test our audio and video before getting into the Hangout. So this is really good because often you get in and then you discover, oh, my mic's not working or I've got the wrong camera or something like that. So you can use both of these to go through, and if you want to change which camera or microphone you're using, you can click on here. All right, so I'm going to actually attempt now to jump into a Hangouts Meet call while I'm live streaming. So that's going to be interesting. I do have a plan B if it doesn't work, but let's give it a go. So I'm going to click join or start meeting, and I'm just going to pop in a nickname called test, click continue. Let's see what happens. Loading up. Beautiful. Now I do have multiple cameras on my device, so it may be able to use another one, but if not, it looks like it might not be able to. So I'm just actually going to turn off the camera. So this is a good way for me to show you, before you even join the Hangout here, you can actually turn off your camera and turn off your microphone if you want. So this is particularly good if you're joining like a large webinar or a large meeting or something like that. You might want to turn those things off before you join. So I'm going to click join now, jump in. Now, because I didn't invite anyone to my meeting to start with, it's actually brought up this box and it's giving me the information that I can send to others to join the meeting. So I could actually click copy joining info here, and I could pop that in an email or in a chat message or on Google Classroom, perhaps if you're a teacher. I can also add people too using the add people button. All right, so I'm just going to close that. Now, here I am in Hangouts Meet. Now, if you want to see that joining information again, maybe to add someone else, you just come down to the bottom left corner where it has the name of the meeting or the meeting code there. You click on that and you can then copy the joining info as well from there. Now, this section here called attachments, it currently says 0, but that's where if you had had an attachment, added an attachment to a Google Calendar event, it'll actually show up there in the attachments and people can get to it, which is great. All right, so let's do a real quick tour here of what else we can do. So I've already shown you down the bottom, we've got like muting mic and muting microphone, turning on and off camera. We saw that on the other screen. That's where you get to it here. Hang up button when it's time to hang up. Top right corner up here. So this little button, we can see a list of who's in the call. So just me. This little button here is the chat. So you've got this text chat down the side there. So you can pop that in. Any questions or anything like that when you're in a Hangout together. Then down the bottom right corner, we have present now, and that's how you can actually share your screen. So if I click on that, I could then choose to share my entire screen or a particular window. So when we're talking about sharing screen, that's if you want to show the people in the Hangout Meet call what is on your screen, which is exactly what I'm doing now on the live stream, right? It's showing you what's on my screen. So you can choose, if you want to flip between multiple windows and programs, you can go entire screen. If you just want to show one thing, you can just go a window. Now, captions is pretty cool, particularly if you've got people in your organization or your school that may perhaps have hearing difficulties. If you turn on captions, which I'm going to do now, you see the captions. Now, I've actually muted my mic, so I'm going to have to turn it on. Hopefully we won't get any feedback, and you'll see down the bottom there. Now, I'm seeing the captions, but this doesn't automatically turn them on for everyone else, so each person has to turn their own on, so just be aware about that. But you can certainly tell them how to do it. All right, so let's turn that off. Now let's go for the last minute over to the right-hand side here, some other things we've got. So record meetings. So if you are the person that's organized the meeting, you can record it, which is awesome. Now this is usually a paid feature that's only available in certain instances of G Suite, certain versions of G Suite, but Google have released it during the COVID-19 situation for everyone. So it is there for you for the minute. Change layout, I can jump in and actually change how people's videos are shown on my screen. Do I want just one person? Do I want everyone in the sidebar and a main speaker? Do I want them split in tiles? That kind of thing. Other things on here, captions we've seen, full screen will give me a bit of a full screen mode. Jump into settings, so that's also where you can then choose your microphone, speakers, video, kind of like what I showed you before in the Hangouts Meet. So that's really good. You can test your stuff there. If I come down here now to the dots again, last little one I want to show you is just use a phone for audio. So this allows you, if you're having problems with your audio, to dial into the audio with a phone. Though I will just sort of caution, if you are watching this from Australia or New Zealand and you are in a school, we don't, that edition doesn't allow a local number dial-in, so it would be a US number, so you've just got to be really careful about that. If you're a business client watching it, you should have a local number that you can dial in with. All right, so that brings us to the end. I'll just quickly turn off my screen share so I can say goodbye. So that's your 10-minute tip over tea. If you haven't got your tea, maybe you should go and get it now. Now, if you want to subscribe to the channel, do follow us on whatever platform you're watching, because we've got these 10-minute tips coming up every day for the next month, at least probably. And tomorrow, one of my colleagues, Adrian, is back with you talking about how you can use Microsoft Teams for video calling. So we do have a video calling theme this week. So thanks so much for watching. See you later.